Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Triggered. My name is Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman, and I'm coming to you live from the arid wastes of the Gobi Desert. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. I thought I had fixed all our technical difficulties. Looks like there still might be a couple outliers, but it's okay. We're good now. I think everything else is going to go smooth. Because I don't need to fiddle around with this window over here. It's
Yeah.
all squared
Uh,
away.
yeah. Get on that tech guy.
Oh my gosh, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Idiot. Fired.
I don't.
No,
Yeah, we can fire him. I don't care.
he's gone.
Okay.
Axed. All right, so wonderful week we had. Coming out of quarantine.
You?
Yeah, a little brush in with the old coronavirus there.
Oh, but you're good, right?
It's like I've said before, it's Schrodinger's deadly virus. You can't know if you have it or you don't unless you look in the box. And I've never looked in.
You don't want to know.
Well, yeah, you gotta like miss work
If
for
you
2
don't
weeks.
know, then there's nothing to worry about. That's what
Yeah,
I've heard, especially with health issues.
exactly right. I never had any health problems until I went to the doctor. He did a bunch of tests, and now I've got cancer. So it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We had a comment. I've got the live stream up here, so I can take a gander at
Oh,
what
nice.
our folks are saying. We had a
Oh, cool.
comment from a Fuzzy Clark. I don't know who that could be. He says, "What are you waiting on?" Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. A little impatient to get the stream started tonight, apparently.
Oh, well. Oh, that's good. I guess got some eager fans.
Who? I don't know this guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fuzzy, Mr. Fuzzy.
Yeah, who's that?
I don't know.
Shout if you're Fuzzy Clark in the chat. There's a small delay between what we say here and what goes live, so I'm not surprised. Anyway,
Is that your cat?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
He's not in here right now. It's just me.
Probably too young to be given unfettered internet access, anyways.
The cat?
Yeah.
He's an old man. He's like 13 or 14 or something like that.
I said what I said.
Yeah, that was wrong. Anyway, did you see this? Hey, check out this, guys. Everything is dark and dramatic these days, including the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There was a fan-made trailer for a dark and gritty Fresh Prince right here. I'm going to play a couple minutes of it.
See, for some reason you think this is a game. This is not a game, Will. Look at you. Look at you.
Dark, twisted,
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was all pastels and 90s. And they decided they wanted to remake that.
That's a little. It's interesting. Interesting direction. Because that was just a fan-made trailer, right?
It started out that way. It was some group there making that trailer, and then they decided that it looked so cool. It looked so cool that they wanted to go ahead and make it a real thing. So now it's a real thing. They're going to make the dark and gritty Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot coming to
Did
you.
you did you watch that whole trailer?
I did. I just watched through it a little bit ago, and I said, that's all right. Except for they made it all weird and dark and gritty.
Yeah. Well, part of the things about sitcoms in general, you can approach, especially with with a handful of episodes from Fresh Prince, is you can approach some serious topics with a lighthearted aspect to it. Maybe poke fun at some of the darker, grittier aspects of life, or approach it differently, and so you can present some harder topics to audiences who might not otherwise be accustomed to that sort of event. And now I'm rambling, but
yeah, but they're couching it. They're couching it in the '90s nostalgia TV show that is hardly representative of what that show was.
Correct.
So who are they trying to talk to? Like new kids, or like 30, 40 somethings that grew up watching the show?
Who knows? I mean, it's like nostalgia bucks, right? Hey, come watch us here. Remember these fun times that you had in Bel Air with Jazz and whatnot, Carlton. Except they're always arguing and they hate each other all the time. It's not friendly banter, and it kind of kills it.
Yeah, they're like really good friends on the regular show, and here they like hate each other. They probably like grow to understand each other eventually, and realize they're family or something over time.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know. You know how those things go.
Well, right.
And nowadays they'll probably try to shoehorn some sort of like weird stuff in there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And like I said, I didn't articulate it that well, but part of the whole point of sitcoms is maybe dealing with serious stuff lightheartedly to show everyone, you know.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, Fresh Prince, it's got me more than one time.
Yeah, definitely.
This doesn't look like a sitcom though. It looks like a straight up drama.
It's The Wire in Bel Air.
I don't know, because that like you said, with sitcoms they can do that because they can draw you in, and it's not all like super heavy constantly.
Right. Gives you a break.
You're ripping on Jeffrey, and the next minute, Will's dad is reunited with him, but then he leaves, and he realizes that his Uncle Phil's his real dad, and they embrace, and he's crying on his shoulder, and it gets me every time. I think I've sent you that clip before. That episode of The Fresh Prince. It's like famous.
Remember.
Everybody, it like gets you. It hits you right in the gut. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he want me? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Will.
I don't know if I've seen that one, honestly.
What?
I don't think I've seen that one.
You're getting a link sent to you after this.
Okay.
And also a clip of that.
Okay.
All right, next segment. We got something from the scanner.
God, jeez.
From the Western Central Illinois scanner. Just yesterday. Missouri
Who knows what this could be?
Missouri is wildin'.
Yeah.
There were 2 intoxicated subjects driving in a red Silverado. One was shooting a shotgun out of the window. The Missouri
Were they riding shotgun?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Missouri State Highway Patrol was en route. They may have tossed the weapon out of a bridge on the Marion County line, traveling east on Highway 36. It's like we live in the Wild West out here. We got bat fights, people riding literal shotgun through the Missouri highways.
Yeah, whatever, shooting mailboxes and whatnot.
I don't know what they were doing. They were on the highway. They were on 36.
Yeah, but they got to the next county, so they're safe.
I think from every Dukes of Hazzard episode I'm aware of, I think that's true. From
the 70s, yeah.
All my legal training tells me that that's a surefire way to escape the law.
Exactly. Just like Just like undercover cops. If you ask them if they're a cop, they have to tell you that they're a cop.
Oh, 100%. These TV shows and public conceptions of what the law is, they're 100% accurate 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Never wrong. But in addition to people wiling out on the highways, they're also apparently decapitating Ronald McDonald's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
A Ronald
Where?
McDonald statue in Clarence, over there in Missouri again, was vandalized. Lost his head. Oh, poor Ron. I don't know what's happening over there. They're also having the COVID spikes and things, so you never know. Maybe it's the wasteland, and Mel Gibson's going to show up driving a souped up car.
Mel Gibson, like current day Mel Gibson.
Yes. Yeah. He's like 60 Amazing. Or whatever.
I would.
He'll start going on some anti-Semitic rants after he drank too much.
Oh my gosh. Unpredictable.
Trying to make his way through the wasteland.
Are they finding the heads?
I don't know. I just saw this KTVO article about the decapitated Ronald McDonald, also reported on the scanner, and I was like, wow. This isn't the only thing. There was also some giant raid in Hannibal. That's America's hometown. But apparently they had a bunch of federales there executing warrants.
For?
I don't know. They didn't say. It was mostly wow, something's happening. Does anybody know what's going on in Hannibal? And then everybody's like, shh, they're trying to get the bad guys. You're giving them a heads up. Everybody follows the scanner.
They probably do.
Yeah, like, oh no, they're after us.
I saw, what was that today? Executing the warrants?
It might have been. I can't remember.
I
just looked it up. I was
around 3:00 p.m. today. I looked outside my window. I heard this clatter outside my window, and I peeled back the curtain. I looked out, and there was 3 black helicopters in single file, helicoptering westbound. So, but I mean, I don't know. That wouldn't be that wouldn't be towards Hannibal. But
that's interesting, because it could spark the conspiracists. But in addition, did you hear about that helicopter in Virginia?
Oh, it was. Let me see if I remember this correctly. An eagle took it down, right?
No. That was the other one.
Confusing story. They were shot at. Yeah. I believe, right?
Some hillbilly
the Democrats in Virginia are seceding again. I think.
In Virginia is taking pot shots at an Army helicopter flying over. It looked like a Huey, and an airman was injured. So I don't know what's going on. That's wild. The other thing,
it's pretty crazy,
was the most libertarian story in the news cycle that I saw.
Oh, okay, sure. What was this? It could be anything.
A bald eagle itself, the embodiment of justice and liberty, swooped out of the sky and took out a government drone from its surveillance activities.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, I like all those stories where you hear about them getting shot down by people. It's like you're hovering over my yard. That's destruction of property. Let's quit peeping. That's what I say.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay if the government does it.
It is not. That is highly illegal. My airspace, if I remember correctly from property, my property rights extend all the way to the end of the universe, above and below, down to the core of the earth.
Incorrect. Are you going to prevent United Airlines flying over your domain?
Yeah, they got some kind of easement, if I remember correctly.
I didn't give them that.
No, it's like as of right.
So your property rights don't extend.
They do.
Because you can't keep them out.
Yeah.
Fly around.
Just like you can't keep out the guy whose landlocked parcel is completely surrounded by your land. You have to give him a way in. He has that right. Just like airplanes.
He can use his drone.
Yeah, he can take a helicopter. I think modern technology will eliminate servient and dominant easement issues in the near future for access to land.
Yeah, and if he keeps it up, I'll just build a fence.
Oh my gosh, those are the worst stories. These snowmobilers, they're making like, loud sounds. I'm gonna hang up some piano wire at neck level.
Oh yeah, no,
oh my god,
that's murder.
That is murder.
I just meant like a fence, like a obvious picket fence to keep them out, or a privacy fence.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right?
Not a barbed wire fence.
No, it was piano wire, like the rocks. Yeah. That was the thing, right? If it was like hidden and they wouldn't notice it, then it was murder.
Yeah.
It would still be just like a tort and a trespass if you block the easement with a fence. But that's buck wild. I don't know why people do the things that they think that they're allowed to do. For example, I don't know why people, for whatever reason, think that it's a First Amendment right to be able to march down the highway. It's like
there's a lot to unpack there, but I don't know. I don't know where you want to start.
Well, how about this?
What does this say?
There are demonstrators that are planning a protest on the Dan Ryan Expressway tomorrow, and I'm like,
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not only because there's been several folks that have been ran down recently by doing this exact thing, but also it's highly illegal. And I'm like, you're not allowed to, in protest, break the law. There's this not very fine line where it's like, if you're overly restrictive of my ability to go out and shout at people, then that's a violation of my rights. But other than that, they can make you do all kinds of weird stuff, not the least of which is not block highways.
Yeah, well, to piggyback off what you said, Zach, right now, what time is it? 9:20 or something? I don't know. I don't have a clock. But I can't right now. I cannot go. I can't go out that door and then take a bullhorn and start yelling cuss words at my neighbors. Can't do it. I can't even even if I threw in a political term or two, you could say oh, it's political speech, blah blah blah. It's the most sacred of speech to call my neighbors dirty neocon or whatever.
I don't know. They may have those fun J.B. Pritzker signs in their front yard.
Yeah, well, there's the Pritzker sucks or the Pritzker cares. Those are coming up.
Oh, yeah. There are some counter signs, but no, it was all those Pritzker sucks signs, black and white everywhere, and then in little writing below Pritzker sucks in all caps, block text across it says, "The life out of Illinois small businesses."
Yeah.
He can walk out there with a bullhorn. He's John across the street. He's got one of them signs that's going to be like, "Hey, John, I hate you and your sign and in your, attack on our beloved governor."
You cannot do that. You cannot do that. It's something that I'm sure, without even looking it up, there's an ordinance violation of disturbing the peace or whatever, and you can't counter that and say, "Hey, it's protecting my First Amendment right," because then what the city would say, or the county, wherever, they'd say it's a time, manner, place restriction. We're not saying you can't tell people Pritzker sucks or Pritzker cares or whatever, but they're just restricting your speech to a specific time, not 10 o'clock at night, manner, maybe not a bullhorn in the neighborhood. and place. Maybe let's move you off to the corner instead of marching down in the middle of the street. Although, maybe I wonder if there's a way, a means to get your message across. Going to City Hall and asking them if maybe you could, I don't know, plan an event, work together with the government to get your message out in a safe and responsible way. You could actually have the police protecting you, honestly, with your message.
That sounds like commie talk. Can't be letting the government put their boot on you by getting any kind of permit for a march or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's what you call it. It's a permit.
Yeah, sounds like.
Like, hey.
Sounds like you hate freedom.
Because guess what? Because yeah, sure. Let's go it that way. But also, it might be in your political message, your political movement's best interest to maybe not travel in the same area where there's 2,000-pound missiles going at 90 miles an hour.
It doesn't matter, because I should be able to do what I want. I gotta say what I gotta say, and you gotta listen to what I gotta say.
Exactly, and opinions aren't wrong, ever. Opinions can't be wrong.
Well, it's true that they, I don't know. There's fringe cases. Opinions are generally not true or false. Or
right,
can't be
well,
untrue.
That's the thing. What are we talking about? The substance of the opinion? But, yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, you could be a liar. Be like, I really like black licorice.
You're
it's a lie. I hate that stuff.
What is your favorite color? Blue. I mean, yellow.
Yeah, see? He didn't tell his opinion. Was wrong. But I get exactly what you're saying. But what I hear, what I've been hearing is that when people try to say that, I really support your right to protest, you can go out and march around all you want. Yeah, you shake those signs, friend. I just really don't want you standing in the road because I got places to go. That our inconvenience is more important than whatever it is they're protesting. And what it amounts to is basically them saying that I have a right to say what I got to say, and also you don't have a right to ignore me. Because if you in any way try to prevent me from doing coercive acts, let's say, things like, I don't know, blocking a freeway, that if I wasn't blocking a freeway, you could just ignore me. Yeah, that's how it works. That's the whole point. You have to resort to speech in order to convince people. That's like the whole point of the entire principle. It's like, violence is not an appropriate way. We aren't permitted to coerce people. You are not allowed to exercise your rights in such a way that it would, infringe on the rights of other people. So then you have people like Twitter user A here, who says, I see a lot of you would love for black people to sit down and be quiet. Peaceful protesting is their constitutional right. Let's keep that same energy while speaking about Trump's corruption, sabotaging the election through the Postal Service, harming elderly and disabled and vets. And I said, that's nonsense. Not just the first part, which is literally, an erroneous interpretation of your First Amendment rights. But, I mean, I don't even know what she's talking about. What is this Postal Service nonsense?
I have no clue. Postal Service has been, I've been having troubles with it since I was a young lad.
Oh, yeah. Well, like at least once a month I get something lost in the mail, something that's vital. And I'm like, I only send mail like maybe twice a month. And it's something that's really important and needs to get someplace. And I'm like, I even get the tracking number, right? I even get the certified mail receipt so I know I can keep track of this stuff. Yeah. And they're not scanning it in and they don't know where it's at. And I'm calling all over the place and I'm calling the guys and I'm like, I don't know.
They don't.
I don't know. It was supposed to get there tomorrow.
it's the fall's coming up, and every it seems that like there's 2 weeks in the fall every year that we just don't get mail, and then afterwards there's just like a flood in our mailbox. It's like they just skipped our house, and they probably likely skipped the rest of the people on our block. But it's funny you mentioned that calling with the tracking number and stuff because I mean I don't know. I don't have high hopes when I when it's like you can't you just put it in the online website and you're like, oh, where is it? And it's just nothing shows up, and I have zero expectations.
Oh yeah.
When I worked at a law firm back in 2014, and I had to we sent mail and got the tracking number and everything. Like the mail, it, the tracking and stuff just stopped. It just there's no progress. And so my boss was like, "Hey, why don't you call them and see what's going on?" And I'm like, "Already, I know, I know they're just gonna tell me to get bent." And
After
so
you're
I
on
call
hold
them
for
up,
an hour.
dude. It's I called, so I called them up and I said, and I told them the whole deal and the tracking number and everything. They said, "Hold on, let me put you on hold, and we could check." They didn't put me on hold. They did not. They set the phone down, and I could hear the conversation, and the conversation was like just not. They're just talking, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're." They said like, "Yeah, there's no." The exact phrase escapes me, but the thing is there's there's no hope. They're not gonna find this. There's nothing. Uh, and so I was like sitting there on the phone, just like had the receiver up, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm hearing this, and it's just, hello, Mr. Furman, are you there? Yes.
Oh, he looked very hard.
Yeah, it's like, well, we checked in the back, and it's good thing you have that tracking number. It's so you got to note the files. The receptionist or whoever you talk to, they didn't care. They didn't care about me.
I watched that Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise? That's not their guy.
What are you talking about?
There was
Mission Impossible?
no.
Getting the mail from point A to point B?
Kevin Costner film called the
Jeez.
called the Post. They're like the same guy, right? Called the Postman, and like those postmen in that film are like super heroic and whatever. And I think that that's the image that postal workers have of themselves. Through hail and whatever, trying to get the mail.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. When they're walking all day long, in rain or shine, snow, darkness, even recently amidst fascism, apparently. I don't understand what that is. But I get it. There's the elements that they have to deal with. Dust storms, radioactive winter.
Yeah. It's good.
Might grow an extra arm to help them. It's tough to work outside all day. I get it. This weird heroics thing, I mean, I don't know.
I think
the guys working 12-hour shifts out in the building stuff, welding in machine press and stuff, and it looked a little harder. But
right, I don't know that it's about the labor that goes into it, but it's about some sort of ethos regarding their they'll get the job done no matter what obstacles stand in the way. The mail will go through. And I'm like, not my certified letter that I sent. Oh yes. Oh, I get riled. Anyway.
Yeah, or my favorites are the packages that are marked "Do Not Bend," and they're like shoved. They're folded up like a paper airplane, and they're just put in your mailbox.
Yeah, but they move like 100 billion letters or whatever a year, so it's like less than like 1/100% or whatever. That's still a lot of mail that gets lost. I don't know. Besides that,
yeah, no. There's another. I ordered this thing and I ordered this book from. I ordered this book and it was sent. I believe it was USPS. If not, it's FedEx, and they're rough too. But I don't think I've had any issues with UPS, but I ordered this book and it was in like Missouri, so it's not that far away, and it just disappeared. It just didn't show up. Amazon offered me a refund, so I accepted it. And then like a month goes by and it shows up in my door. So I got this book for free. It was kind of cool.
Nice.
But but it's like, hey, we found it. It was on my desk probably.
I don't know what happens. It's just that happened to that certified letter I'd sent. It was like gone. And then I had to send another one, and we took care of everything in the back end. And then it was like a week later, it's like, we received your letter from the post office. I'm like, what? Is it like on the ground? It was under one of those mail carts, and someone moved it aside. Like, well, looks like one fell down here. We better make sure we get that to its location. I'm like,
on the floor of the mail truck or whatever.
I don't know. It's weird. My uncle's a postman. So I might need to reach out to him and discuss the finer details of postal work and find out how this goes down.
Yeah.
All right. But here's an interesting thing with the old Dan Ryan issue and these folks is that the blowback from the other side on this kind of thing is also equally absurd in most cases. For instance, the replier one here says, "It's my constitutional right to use the highways," which it's not, but whatever, I don't know. Which, by the way, were made for road traffic, not foot traffic. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Wait, did they say put that in your pipe?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And I'm like, well, you're both idiots.
Yeah, everyone knows that the interstate system was designed to help facilitate a UN invasion.
Absolutely, 100%. That's why each you have those mile stretches of straight road or whatever they designed into it for landing strips for all the UN.
Absolutely, and then it literally points to the major cities to where you should invade.
It's all making sense now.
No, I don't know much about federal highway law. I don't know. I don't know, Zach.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think that you can actually shut it down to do a parade or anything or a protest or anything. I mean, you could do that like Michigan Avenue, but
they did it in that book I read that one time. Who wrote that book? It's a Stephen King book. It's one of my favorites. Shut down the highways all the way from the border of Canada and Maine.
Those are the highways though, not the interstate.
I'm sure there was interstate. Right? At some point. I don't know in that alternate universe how much the interstate system had been developed.
Can't gone. There's no. Yes, as because isn't it like US 1 or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that I think that's the interstate that goes all the way down to
the book. It's
Key West. Oh, I don't.
It's the longest yard. Walk to remember.
That is the longest yard.
Long walk.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's what that is. Starring Mila Kunis as a terminally ill girl who sings in the church choir.
That was Mandy Moore.
It was.
It wasn't Mila Kunis.
It was not. But speaking of Chicago, we talked about those task forces last week.
Oh yes.
Old Lori Lightfoot there, she's cracking down on those parties, those illicit gatherings. And I said, what?
No, it was just, I saw a picture of, it was, she was getting upset about a bunch of guys hanging out on the beach.
Yeah. Absolutely. She was freaking out. She's like, I can't believe I went down here. I went down here, and I saw
Yeah,
them myself.
Yeah, I went down here personally,
Yeah.
and I found that there was a bunch of people gathered here doing this party, and I'm upset.
Yeah. Sent in her goon squad and got them broke up.
I think she wanted to be part of the party.
It real could be. In addition, she's started a new committee. So even more task force going on, and this one is reviewing public monuments. If you hadn't heard, there were a number of statues in Chicago, a very diverse city with a large Italian population, to Christopher Columbus, honoring the European discoverer of the New World. And they removed them all, every single one. And so Ms. Life decided that she needed a committee to decide what we wanted to do about monuments in the great city of Chicago.
Are they preventing Italian Americans from being on that committee?
I hope so. I don't know. I mean, I hear that what people look for nowadays is parity and composition of different groups. So, I don't know what the demographics are for Italian Americans, but if we're going to go down to that level of precision on on population demographics for parity purposes. In Chicago, there's going to be at least two Polish guys on there before there's an Italian.
Exactly what I was going to say. They post at the Daily Center. They even post messages on the wall in Polish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like, there's, fresh immigrant Polish Americans who are still speaking the old language.
Absolutely. So I don't know. Maybe we should bring some more Kazimierz Pulaski monuments back to the great city of Chicago, and bring back Kazimierz Pulaski Day to a celebrated Illinois holiday.
Absolutely.
I don't even care about that guy anymore.
I agree, and it should also be a holiday where everyone gets the day off.
Absolutely. We'll do a special episode on Kazimierz Pulaski Day. It'll be like a live stream all day at the pool.
It's tomorrow, Zach.
Is it? I don't even know when Kazimierz Pulaski
I have no clue. See, he needs more attention to him.
Absolutely. We need to have a day off, not just a day off from work, but a special day where you, like they started doing for different holidays. You don't get the day off. It's just a day where you need to do work to understand the history of whatever it is we're supposed to be memorializing in holidays. And I think that most people just, spend the day studying the bottom of liquor bottles and things. No regard. But this wasn't the only task force that was announced recently, because you may have heard that there was some rowdiness in Chicago the other day.
Well, is she going to rename the... Oh, I thought you were... Oh, this one. I thought you were talking about the their commission on police torture.
I didn't even see that one. That's another one. They got like 9 task force.
It's a long-standing one. I mean, that's the Chicago Police Department. So.
Yeah, well, there was a recent thing about that. A guy who had been convicted and spent 25 years in prison just got out, but he was tortured to confessing to a murder under the John Burge era. So.
Yeah.
There's we could get into Illinois corruption. We could go all day. There's a bunch of stuff happening right now. Oh my gosh. Staying on topic for now.
Okay, all right, let's go. It was a planned attack.
There was a planned attack. It was a terrorist action. There was U-Haul trucks and whatever else going downtown. It's like Benghazi, but on the Miracle Mile in Chicago. Everybody thought that it was about that video, insulting the prophet that was being circulated. That had everybody up in arms.
Careful.
What? What's going on? I was being respectful.
Okay.
All you jihadis out there, listen up.
Oh, jeez.
But actually, it was a planned and orchestrated attack on the businesses downtown. I even saw that they broke out the front windows on the Ronald McDonald house.
Yes.
I'm
I saw that too.
That's insane. These people.
Yeah.
Those were sick kids and their families
Degenerates.
breaking down the windows and doors to the Ronald McDonald house in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know. They saw McDonald's. They thought evil corporation, bash it in. Maybe they can, I don't know, steal some hamburgers.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So, terrify some young sick children and their families.
Yeah, gosh, the worst.
It was the worst. But yeah, not just Central, but Illinois corruption all over the place. There's a Commonwealth Edison deferral of prosecution for bribery of an unnamed person who they describe as
Mr. Speaker.
the Speaker of the House of Illinois. So it's like, who could that be? I don't know. There's only one of those.
Yeah.
It'd be like me saying, it's that host, it's the co-host of the Triggered Media podcast who wears glasses. And it's like, I don't know who that could be. It's not me. By the way, I'm surprised you don't have your Rhodesian flag up behind you right now.
Now what?
You were talking about getting a background sorted out.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. They can't figure my wall's good enough for right now.
Yeah, that's fine. We ain't fancy around here. Well, yeah, not just that, but there's been several other bribery cases come out. There was some guy, and it's the worst kept secret in the state that pay-to-play politics and outright bribery happens all the time. But the feds are actually running it down. There's red light camera companies in the city of Chicago paying straight up bribes to people. They're getting them on tax evasion because, of course, you didn't report your bribes to the IRS. That's how they catch you. They'll do them no good.
Rookies. Rookies. You need to report your bribes. People, come on.
Yeah, you have to launder the money through legitimate business sources, and then it's reported as income, and that's how.
Usually a cash heavy business.
Oh yeah. And in that way, you can keep yourself separated from the criminal enterprise and have only legitimate funds. And the feds have to do weird RICO stuff to get you, because everything else is like state-level crimes and things. And it's much harder to prove a criminal conspiracy than it is to prove tax evasion. I'm just happy that they're doing it. Here's the thing. I don't know if I could trust it because... the current administration pardoned our criminal governor who was doing all kinds of... He shut down a children's hospital. That was one of the charges that was in that trial that he got pardoned for from our glorious president. It's like, talk about looters smashing the windows on Ronald McDonald house. That's just steal all their money from them. In order to
come on, it's victimless. He's it was whatever. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't punch anyone in the face.
He punched me right in my conscience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, reading that. I remember reading. What was it? The affidavit. I remember reading that back in 08, 09 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was great. It was like a mob. It was like a mob movie script.
It was really just disappointing. I've lived in this state most of my life, and I kind of enjoy it. I like the cornfields and whatever else, but I cannot stand this political corruption, and the fact that it's so brazen, and we're just now hearing about some of this stuff. And the feds are just now getting involved. And I think it's mostly for political reprisals because the president really doesn't like our state because of its voting history. And I think to myself, well, if old Joe Biden there, he wins the election, all this fancy criminal prosecutions for corruption are going away, and nobody around here is going to do anything about it because literally everyone is on the take. But you never know. You never know because as you know, the federal government can do such things as prevent you from growing wheat and using it for your own purposes, or requiring you to purchase health insurance without, or if you don't, paying a tax. And
wait, they can stop you from growing your own food to eat for yourself?
This is absolutely true.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, 100%. And in addition to all of this, the potential new president, Joe Biden, and his running mate, Kamala Harris, have said that they would create a nationwide face mask mandate, that they would impose a federal mandate. I don't know how.
You'd have to tax people.
Yeah,
tax them.
That's what you could do that. You could say if you don't wear a mask, you have to pay the no mask tax somehow. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Is it going to be reported?
The no mask task force tax.
Yeah. Is it going to be like on your 1040 or whatever? You're like,
yeah.
Verify under penalty of perjury that
did you check the box? Yeah. Under penalty of perjury, check the box if you wore a mask.
You didn't wear a mask every day, all day for 365 days of this year, and so the no mask task force tax applies to you. You must now pay the tax.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that and I'm like, wow, these wonderful times we're living in. I'm so glad we've decided to not, even though everybody almost universally agrees that the executive right now has way too much power, that absolutely nobody wants to do anything to walk it back and try to reinstitute the separations.
I don't understand it. It's one of the most frustrating things. It's like, oh my gosh, we have literal Hitler here doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, I mean, we can all, I'd say probably since Wilson, you pretty are, I don't know if you want to get down already, maybe Lincoln, really paved the way for this and just completely left unchecked.
Yeah, and they have the power to.
Oh my gosh.
This makes me the most sick. It's like the Speaker of the House is getting up there, and she's all like, "Yes, President's exercising all these powers. It's outrageous. It's outrageous they would do things, issue these executive orders to bypass Congress." I'm like, you idiot. You are Congress. You can stop him anytime. Anytime. But they don't, because they're like, well, our guy's going to get in there, and then I want them to be able to phone in Mr. Phone and Pen last time, and he did a lot of good stuff with those executive orders. We just
Mr. Who?
Phone and Pen. You may have known him as the great senator from Illinois. He had a very prestigious Senate career. Barack Obama.
Yes. Oh, hey, did you know that he was, this is something interesting I found out about him, is that he was the first president to ever have a kill list.
Yes, I did know that.
With American citizens on it?
Of course, with, Nixon in office, I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Oh, I don't know.
It never came out.
No, I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
Whether or not it did, we don't have any definitive evidence that he actually executed an American citizen. But we do have that for Mr. Obama. He regularly killed people that he wanted to assassinate, including American citizens. Hey, kids, if you don't know that, look it up. It's true. But I wonder,
can anything be done about this?
Apparently not. Apparently not. They couldn't do anything about old Barack there for 8 years, and now we can't do anything about old President Trump for the last 4. So either we have 4 more years of, orange Hitler going in office, making all these executive orders erroneously, or we have the next 4 years of, well, I'm not going to be that optimistic. The next 6 months of Joe Biden making his benevolent orders from on high to change the characterization. But we don't know. We don't know if he'll do that. We don't even know what is being done because we don't know what truth is, Adam. Truth is an illusion and is often tried to be evoked for improper reasons, as you may have recently learned from the released transcript of one Elon Musk.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one. Elon Musk, you guys may know him as the chief executive officer of Tesla and a billionaire sort of old-timey style American hero kind of guy, like Howard Hughes and whatever. And he was...
Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't alive back then. We haven't had anybody like this since I've been alive. Well, like Ross Perot.
No.
I don't know. Elon here, he was getting deposed, and it was in a lawsuit related to some sort of shenanigans that happened with a disgruntled employee. And this idiot attorney who's deposing him asks him this insane question that doesn't make any sense. He says, oh. Let me find it. Oh my gosh. He asked him if he has an influence. What is the media who started to understand the oath you just took? Yes, sir. I'm not here to answer your question. It's mine. Okay, my question is for you is, sir, do you understand the oath you took? He said, yes, of course. What do you think it means? And Elon answers, to say the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and to be truthful at the end, more importantly, to be truthful at the very core of the truth, which I think this is how Elon was understanding it. Some things are true, but they're not wholly true. And then the attorney comes back and says, you would agree with me that something isn't really true unless it's the whole truth, right, Mr. Musk?
No.
And Elon's some kind of genius engineer, rocket scientist guy who's going to put people on Mars, and he's like, whole truth. And his brain's going, he's asking himself, what the hell is the whole truth? What does that even mean? And he's like, this sounds like some sort of nonsense.
Yeah. No, he's trying to avoid being like entrapped by some hotshot lawyer getting him into a corner.
Yeah, what's the whole truth mean? I don't know. He's like, that doesn't make sense. You can't tell the whole truth. We'd be here for all of time trying to describe what a tree is, if that's what you're talking about. He basically says that to him. And he's like, Mr. Musk, sir, again, I'm not here to answer your questions, sir.
Yeah. He's trying, it's great because the attorney's lost control over the deposition.
Oh, several times. It's worth a read. I would recommend Googling that and finding it because it was entertaining. I ended up getting several tens of pages into this thing, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I got better things.
You actually were reading it more than those first two?
Yeah. I'm like, it drew me in. I fell right into that rabbit hole. Oh my gosh. But what is truth? Apparently this guy was either trying to trick him somehow, which I wouldn't put it past him.
Probably.
Or he's just an idiot, which I would also not put it past him. Because as you know, just because you have a law degree, obviously doesn't mean you're very smart.
Yeah.
Everybody listening to this knows that.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. Especially, it's probably doubly so when someone starts like using that as their crutch for like credentialism as their crutch. How dare you tell me? I have this piece of paper.
Oh my gosh, it's not just that. It's these people that say, well, I've been practicing for 20 years. I know better than you do. And you have to sit there and you're like, you're like, I don't know. Because I just read the law, so I might be wrong. You might know things that I don't know, but this is what it says. They're like, oh, no. You don't know what you're talking about. What you need to do is go research it and then give this answer that I think is right. And I'm like, I'm pretty smart. And I'm a pretty okay lawyer. And I could probably argue most even tenuous legal positions to some degree with any kind of support. But I can't make up stuff that you imagined in your brain out of whole cloth without any kind of authority or references. It's not even tangentially interpretable from the text. And I'm like, I think that's not something I can do ethically.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sometimes get into an argument about boilerplate language. Oh, that doesn't mean that. I'm like, that's it's like standard form stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean something else. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Please educate me then, since you've been for 20 years or whatever.
They're like, oh, if it means that means we'd have to do every single one of these other things that would imply. And I'm just like, yes.
Get the thing.
We had some technical difficulties. I couldn't show these to you last time, but this is the my favorite yes Chad response. It's this quite debonair man with an American flag bandana here. And when I saw him, I felt an immediate affinity, and I felt the need to make my own version of this, and so I went ahead and took a picture of myself. Hey, feel free to screen cap, crop, and use that image in all of your yes chat memes.
Yeah. All right, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't know. It was something that I was happily ignorant of as a child. Because everyone lied to me horribly about about the way the world works.
Sorry for that.
It's like, no, you just need to, if you go to college and you work hard, get decent grades, you'll be able to, they'll just be handing out jobs like candy at the fair,
Yes.
You're like, oh, you'll get thrown right into some job making like $50,000-$60,000 a year, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, wait, you were told that too?
Everybody, I think they still tell kids that. Sad day, kids. If you're listening to this, that just ain't true, son.
No.
You don't know nothing about the world, and the world doesn't give you anything. And you need to understand that just because you have a piece of paper doesn't mean that any doors are necessarily going to go for you. Now, plenty will be closed if you don't. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's true.
They won't even look at you if you don't have the right paper sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just used as a screening process, right?
Yeah.
The most important thing is your GED/high school diploma.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I said, like, if I knew what I do now, because all this stuff is nonsense, I'd get the paper as fast and cheap as I could. Then I could do, the actual stuff that gets you a job, which is you have to know people, and talk to them, and know the people that know
skills.
You have to be like...
a marketable skills.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, because they'll hire some schmucks that don't know anything. But usually it's somebody's kid. Or you know them, or whatever. Like, I go to church with that guy. His parents. I've known him for years. We have an opening in the marketing department. You should give him a shot. That kind of stuff. That's how it all gets made. it's like the way that the system tells you it works is you have to, there's job postings and you send them your resume or whatever, and it gets put in a pile, it's reviewed, and then they hire you. And that's probably like 5% of everybody that gets a job or something
Yeah.
in like the professional world.
The networking events aren't even like
No,
like
it's done.
colleges and stuff. It's really remember the I remember the first kind of networking event that I had in law school. It was went up to Rockford, and there was speaking to one of the judges. It was kind of cool because I was the only one from like that area.
Yeah.
But one of our guys, I was just like sitting there with I don't even remember. I probably had like a Coke or something. I don't know if I had any alcoholic beverages. And one of my classmates shows his way through, and he's like, "Oh, excuse me, this is like plastered off of light beer," and he smells up the keg from the keg, and there's just like everyone's kind of like, "Oh, hey, I'm not that guy." It's the third day of law school. It's an orientation. Third day of orientation. This dude is like that guy.
Who was
He
it?
barged. I don't remember. He
No.
barged through. I mean, he seemed like a decent guy and everything.
It wasn't me,
but
was
just
it?
like,
I don't
it
remember.
was not you. That's when I met you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. No, he barged past us and a judge, and I'm like,
Yeah. That was. I like those parties. They were fun. I enjoyed it, but the more that I dip my toes in the water, I realize more and more how much there's a giant waste of time. Nobody got a job from a networking event like that. That's trash. Networking events. Oh my gosh. And then it's like, there's people that sort of understood the game. And it was so distasteful to me that I hated even going to them and watching these people. They would like be... Because I treated them sort of like social events, so I'd be like chatting people up or whatever and just talking, because that's what I thought you did at those things. But they were on missions. They'd dial their sights onto whatever prestigious prey might be present at the event, and then go present themselves in front of them. And I'm just like, this is distasteful. I hate this so much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I've done that before where it's like, oh hey, there's this event, and it's just like, oh hey, there's the person who has complete control over the job that I want. You go up and be like, oh hey, my name is so and so, and then it's just, I want this job that you're. I don't know. What do you?
Well, I think that the best way those things work is if you have a mentor or somebody there who can
Exactly
break the ice for you and introduce you to people. Like, they already know the people that you need to know. And this is how the whole thing works. You need to have that guy that the person that you need to know knows. And then they need to connect you to them. And then once you've been introduced, then that's all you need. And you have an excuse to reach out to them, maybe send them an email or whatever afterwards. Hey, I met you at the thing, and I remember we were talking about this. There's a thing, and then you can start a whole relationship with them and then build the thing. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it works in general outside of those contrived contexts.
right.
I found in my experience, even though they say, well, if you see somebody or somebody's work that you appreciate, send them, just contact them, send them an email or send them a letter, call them up or whatever. And so I've tried that on a number of occasions. And ghosted. It's like the handful of times I've responded to it, it's pleasantly surprised. It's like these super nice people that waste their time to reach back out to me. And I appreciate that, but it's so rare that it occurs that it's just like, I don't understand. I had a question about, I can't even remember what it was. It was something to do with primitive markets, because I started to look into market theory and sort of understand that capitalism and markets aren't a economic system so much as a philosophical explanation of how people interact with each other. Right? It's like, if you've got something and I want it, how do we exchange that stuff? It's a whole theory about this stuff, but I wanted to get into sort of the origination, how they spontaneously arrive and then become complicated and weird. And so I was looking for resources. I couldn't find anything specifically, so I reached out to the local university professor, and I'm like, hey, economics professor person, I'm sure you know some stuff about this. This is like your whole shtick. Ghosted.
Yeah.
Nothing, ever. I think I even followed up. I said, hey, just following up on this. Didn't know if you had a chance to read my email.
Hey, I think you ghosted me, but could you please not do that?
It's so frustrating.
What's that? There's that scene in Superbad, right, where McLovin is talking to them, and like Jonah Hill's character and the other guy, they're like talking as if McLovin isn't even there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, then they like walk off end scene, and like McLovin's just standing there. He's like, can someone answer me? I don't.
That's been like my entire professional career. I go to those things. It's like we go downtown and it's all the attorneys from town are there, and I'm just like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm like, who are you? I've never seen you before. And I'm like, oh. Are you trying to take my business? Oh, and
they find out.
You get the side eye.
You find out that you can like actually. Oh, you can't really give them business, but you know, like you find out that like maybe you could. That you're actually. That they could get business from you, and they're like, "Oh hey, you I like you.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your opinion on today's sports ball?"
It's completely.
I'm like, I don't.
It's completely cynical and terrible. Exactly. They're like, "Oh, I can't get anything from this schmuck. He's probably gonna ask me for work or whatever." And I'm like, hey, I work here, and they're like,
yeah. Oh.
And I'm like, oh god, it's transparent and it's distasteful. I hate it. It's like,
I don't know. You get some, and then you get like the old school guys. You're like, oh hey, there's this cool area. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm younger in the law thing, but it's just like, oh hey, I found this cool, really niche thing about the law, and it's this. Blah. Have you found something niche and cool like this? They're like, I don't talk about it unless you pay me. They're like, oh, I'm just trying to have I'm another attorney trying to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, they won't even talk to you about the law. These attorneys.
It's like
I don't even know. I have nothing to talk to you about literally at all. You won't talk to me about the one thing I'm interested in, and that we both know about.
Our mutual interest is the law right now, and I can't even do that.
No.
I don't know. On the other hand, there's like the guys who have been in it for so long with each other, you know, just like they know each other for like 30 years, and they never see you, and so they'll like they'll approach you and be like, hey, I don't know you. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. This guy's an idiot. And you're like, oh, okay.
That describes literally every conversation I've had at every single lawyer meetup thing that's been around. It's like, hey, you gotta watch out for this guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm like, oh, this is great.
The great thing is like they never say that about like 3 of the people, because those 3 people can't handle a joke at all.
No.
You actually got to watch out for those guys.
Or they're like their boss or whatever, and they're just like completely terrified the entire time.
We just hired this first-year associate. He's the worst.
Yeah, it's funny, guys.
He went to, oh my gosh, he went to this law school. There was a bunch of weirdos who come out of there. And you're like, I went to that law school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those guys. Oh. Anyway, it looks like we're approaching the end of our time here with you tonight. Once again, if you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handles are conveniently located below our portraits here, and our Trigger Media account is handles right there. The stream is going to go up on YouTube after we get done here, so feel free to like the video, and also if you want to get our videos up on your YouTube feed, feel free to subscribe. We'd really appreciate that.
Yep, hit the bell too.
Yeah, hit the bell. Get alerts. You'll know when we go live. Even though we only go live every Friday at 9, so I don't know. Maybe there'll be extra content later. You don't know what's going to happen. You ought to subscribe and find out.
Oh, whoa! Crazy Zach's podcast.
Yeah. Zach and Adam, they bring you the news.
Not an actual news source.
Whatever. We got a fact checker. We talked about that.
Well, we just let him go.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We'll have to hire him back. Seriously, he's indisposable. Frankly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are those harassment charges that he has, but
gosh. No, he wasn't actually charged.
Okay.
Yeah, and
he signed an NDA.
Yeah. Hey, and if you can think of anybody out there who might really enjoy this content, I mean, I'm sure there's at least a dozen people out there. Then share with them. Should
yeah. There's literally tens of people who might be interested in this.
Literally, because we've got tens of people that have been regularly watching the show. So, thank you.
Do you have any other comments?
No. I was gonna say my dad, but I don't know who this guy is. But Fuzzy Clark.
Fuzzy Clark
was the only person who commented, and then everybody else. We do have 6 people watching right now. So.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys, and have a wonderful evening. And we will talk to you next Friday at 9. Take care.